This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Wednesday, Ceviche Wednesday, July 31st. And today's pod is the best one yet. This is a TBOY.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
Jack, is there anything more wonderfully American than our gymnastics teams? Have you seen these teams, man? It's incredible.
I watched the men's competition last night, and the finalist on the pummel.
Yes, with the glasses, Steven.
He was sitting, focused, waiting for his moment the whole night, and then he delivered.
He went like from Clark Kent nerdiness to full-on Superman in that episode. It was incredible on the balance beam.
Speaking of Clark Kent, I can't believe how built those guys are.
Oh, it's insane. The men's and the women's teams, it is like you've got Penn State and Stanford. You've got California, Massachusetts. It's like every race, every background. It is the most wonderfully American team.
But those red pants the male gymnasts wear,
I kind of want a pair.
they kind of look like elves in those.
Okay, maybe I won't get a pair. But Jack, 3 stories for today's TBOY. What do we got on the pod, man?
For our first story, it's Flow. The period tracking app just hit a $1 billion valuation.
So Flow is pivoting to Millennial Menopause.
For our second story, we just crunched the numbers on Starbucks' latest earnings report.
Starbucks, it is officially Wall Street's lowest valued, least liked fast food chain.
And we have the numbers to prove
Yes,
it.
we do.
And our third and final story is about the dairy industry.
Big dairy.
Farmers are pivoting from milk to cheese.
Big milk, just bet the farm on big cheese.
And we'll tell you the whole story, starting with the Got Milk ads.
Sargento, yes, please.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix of stories,
Wild mix of stories for Ceviche Wednesday. Love the mix, Jack.
Nick and I have a secret to share, but you need to promise you won't tell anyone.
Confession. It's about peeing in the pool.
Now, to be clear, we're not peeing in the pool. I never pee in the pool.
No, I never have done it before. But Jack, everyone else is peeing in the pool.
The tattletale in this case is the Wall Street Journal, which just published an article titled The Dirty Secret of Olympic Swimming.
Because apparently everyone pees in the pool.
It's the dirty secret of these Olympic Games.
Literally. We're talking blood, sweat, tears, and urine. A whole bunch of it, Yetis.
Get this, Yetis. There is so much pee in those Olympic swimming pools
Yeah, Jack?
that they need to replenish the chlorine levels every hour.
Hey, Pierre, what is going on with the pH level, my friend?
Backstroke to butterfly, these swimmers are letting it fly.
But Jack and I had to ask the question, why are Olympians treating the pool like a 100-meter long toilet?
Apparently, the swimsuits that Olympic swimmers wear take a really long time to take off.
Oh, and on top of that, no one knows it's you when you pee in the pool.
True. No, you can't be blamed. So it's a tragedy of the common situation.
No one's like, raise your hand if you're...
But it's true. Apparently, you need like 3 different people to help you put on that Olympic bathing suit.
Well, Jack, just ask 3-time American Olympian swimmer Lily King.
Lily King confessed to the Wall Street Journal that she's peed in every professional swimming pool she's ever swam in.
But that's not even the wildest part, is it, Jack?
The wildest part is, it's not just a little pee they're letting out.
No, it's not, because besties, the swimmers are so hydrated, it's a big pee in that pool.
It's like an Austin Powers pee. If you know, you know.
But we should point out, fortunately, because they're so hydrated, it's also a clear pee.
So it's the least gross kind of pee.
Yetis, add it all up, and the next time you're doing the front stroke but you feel a warm patch of water,
You're going to want to hold your breath and swim as fast as you can.
Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies who are apparently peeing in the pool?
The gold, it's worth a little bit of yellow.
Those swimmers, they're trying to make the pool pee and go mainstream.
Literally.
It's time to normalize the pool pee. Jack, I think we just ruined a lot of summer camp.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm not normalizing the pool pee.
Hey, you said it before I did. Yetis, let's see our 3 stories. I think it's on the microphones.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. TBOY City on your list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Flow, the biggest women's health app in the world, just became a unicorn.
The next untapped market in health is millennial menopause.
Now, Yetis, Jack and I have talked to you before about the blind spots of business. That's where the opportunities are.
Well, for the venture capital industry, their blind spot historically has been women's health.
Yeah, specifically for that industry, it's been menstruation.
The men who run venture capital funds were quick to finance erectile dysfunction pills because they were familiar with it personally.
Venture capital, they know a thing or two about erectile dysfunction. If it lasts longer than 4 hours, Jack, call Andreessen Horowitz.
Well, this week, a major venture capital firm called General Atlantic played catch-up big time in the women's health finance department.
With a $200 million check written out to a startup called Flow.
Flow is now the first women's health app to achieve unicorn status.
It's now a $1 billion valued femtech app. Jack, let's jump in TBOY style.
Flow is an app that helps women track their periods, manage their ovulation, and control their pregnancy.
Now, interestingly, in 2023, Flow launched anonymous mode to protect women's privacy after the fall of Roe v. Wade.
And according to Flow, 380 million women have downloaded their app, and 68 million still use it every month right now.
Jack, could you sprinkle on a little context of those big numbers, please?
68 million monthly active users is roughly equal to the number of half of America's adult women.
But Yetis, interesting thing. Flow realized a problem that we've discussed before, and we've seen it in places like with dating apps.
Sometimes your users age out of the offering that you're giving them.
Well, perfect timing, because the most shared New York Times Magazine article of last year was actually about the topic of menopause.
And Nick, why was everyone so curious about this article about menopause?
Well, Jack, let's talk about numbers again. Half of the human population is going to go through menopause, and yet we have very little information out there about it.
According to McKinsey, each year, 450 million women experience perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms.
That's a lot of women experiencing something that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Here's the issue, though. Halle Berry, the Oscar-winning actress, she knows nobody's reading that McKinsey report.
No, not enough people are.
So Halle Berry took her star power to Washington, D.C. this May to talk about menopause.
Yeah, she brought that James Bond-style firepower to a bipartisan Senate committee pushing for legislation for menopause research and education.
Every woman goes through the hormonal shift known as menopause, including Halle Berry right now.
Now, on average, Yetis, periods stop for women permanently at around the age of 52.
Perimenopause can start as early as 40, with symptoms lasting up to 10 years.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies over at Flow? Actually, for the whole world.
We are in the third phase of femtech.
Yetis, femtech, the sector of the tech industry that is focused on women's health.
10 years ago, femtech was a tiny niche, but it's not anymore. By 2027, femtech is expected to be a $60 billion a year industry.
And now, Yetis, in the time over the last half decade, Jack and I have been doing this pod, we've noticed the trend, the rise of this industry. Phase 1 of femtech was tech to help you track periods.
Phase 2 of femtech was to help women on their pregnancy journeys.
But now, years later, we're seeing phase 3, and that phase is menopause.
Menopause, just as the millennials who probably developed these apps come of menopausal age.
A long-neglected industry is young no more, and now we're in the third phase of femtech.
Flow is growing with its audience by putting an entire fundraise into menopause.
For our second story, Starbucks, its stock just hit its lowest level in 5 years, and Jack and I found out why.
Here's why Starbucks is actually the least valuable food chain on Wall Street.
All right, Jack, pour yourself a cold brew, because we've had a lot of fun covering Starbucks this year, haven't we, my friend?
Most recently was Starbucks' announcement of electric vehicle charging stations.
Yeah, you can now charge your Volvo while they make your Venti.
Starbucks also launched a movie studio to spread low-key pro-coffee themes throughout movies and documentaries.
The wild, hot story of a Frappuccino love.
Starbucks also introduced olive oil coffee. They're introducing bubble tea this summer, and they've launched late-night latte delivery.
Yeah, Jack, Starbucks is basically like, ain't somebody gonna match my freak, and nobody's gonna match that freak.
And despite all that freak, Starbucks just announced yesterday that sales fell for a second quarter in a row, and the stock has now fallen by 30% so far this year.
Again, we don't want to sprinkle decaffeine on the caffeine, but it hasn't actually been a fun year for Starbucks stock, has it, Jack?
It's been a bad 5 years. Starbucks today is worth less than it was 5 years ago.
Darlene at Duncan, she's dancing in her donuts when she saw that stock price.
It's schadenfreude for Darlene.
Which translates to glazed donuts. But Jack and I were curious. What exactly is wrong over at Starbucks? Jack, how should we explain it?
Well, like a coffee bean, the CEO is getting squeezed from every side.
Lax Narasman, who's the newish CEO of Starbucks, but he's getting squeezed 4 different ways.
First, he's getting squeezed by the 3-time former CEO Howard Schultz, who's been vocal about Starbucks' struggles.
Howie Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, has been tweeting feed forward for the current CEO. Awkward.
This guy's also getting squeezed by Starbucks' own baristas.
Yeah, 11,000 baristas have unionized across the chain.
He's also getting squeezed by a big, famous activist investor.
Elliott Management bought a bunch of Starbucks stock, and now they want change ASAP.
But worst of all, Starbucks is getting squeezed hard by the competition.
Over in China, Luckin Coffee already has 16,000 locations, getting Chinese consumers hooked.
Here in the U.S., Dutch Boys and Dunkin' Donuts have more mojo than Starbucks does.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, consumers are getting frustrated too because your wait time has been longer. It's never been longer than this.
The average wait time for your coffee at a typical Starbucks has doubled since the pandemic.
40 minutes for an orange mocha frappuccino. How much orange is in that thing, man?
Now, the CEO, this guy Lax, he has a plan.
He does. And what does he call that plan, Jack?
The triple shot reinvention with 2 pumps. Darlene!
We kind of love how he's marketed this turnaround plan for Starbucks.
The highlight of the turnaround plan is to add 8 new stores every single day for the next 7 years.
But funny thing, Yetis, Jack and I don't think that idea is going to work because of our takeaway.
I just want to repeat, Starbucks' plan is to add 8 new stores globally every day for the next 7 years.
Let's just focus on getting us the cappuccinos within 30 minutes. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies? No, I said Nick. It's still not ready? All right, sorry. What's the takeaway for our buddies over at Starbucks?
Store for store, Starbucks is the least valuable chain in fast food.
Now, Yetis, Starbucks is a public company. It's worth $85 billion. It's huge. It trails only McDonald's in fast food valuation.
But we crunched the numbers. If you look at Starbucks on a per location basis, it's not the second most valuable fast food chain. It's actually the least valuable chain on Wall Street.
Get this. We found a set of 3 restaurant chains that illustrates this wild difference. Starbucks, Chipotle, and Cava.
Starbucks has 37,000 locations globally, and it's worth $85 billion.
Chipotle has 3,000 locations globally, worth $70 billion.
And Cava has just 300 locations, and it's valued at $9 billion.
All right, so Jack, let's whip out the whiteboard. On a per location basis, Cava is valued at $30 million per store. Chipotle is valued at $22 million per store.
But Starbucks is worth just $2 million per store, a level of magnitude smaller than Cava and Chipotle.
We repeat, Starbucks is at just $2 million valuation per store. That's it.
On a per store basis, Cava is 15 times more valuable than Starbucks, and Chipotle is 10 times more valuable than Starbucks.
What we're saying is that Wall Street thinks Starbucks' best days are behind it.
And they've downgraded the stock accordingly.
So, besties, if you want to understand how bad the Starbucks situation really is, don't look at the revenues, don't look at the wait times, and don't wait for that bubble tea.
Look at the value per location. It reveals that Starbucks is the least liked chain on Wall Street.
Hey, Yetis, if you're a bestie, take a sec and hit that subscribe button.
And like this video while you're at it. If you leave a comment, by the way, we'll read it.
For our third and final story, got milk? Well, not exactly. Americans are consuming dairy, but they're just not drinking it anymore.
The U.S. dairy industry is losing on milk, but it's found a new cash cow.
Literally. And we'll tell you about it. Yetis, a quick trigger warning if you are lactose intolerant, because the rest of the story, it is going to rub your tummy the wrong way, isn't it, Jack?
True. And it starts with one of the most famous advertising slogans in American commerce. It was invented 30 years ago, and it was by dairy.
Yes, Got Milk. A happy 30th birthday to Got Milk, which started back in 1993.
Got milk? Question mark. Every celebrity posed with a milk mustache for an ad in some magazine with Got Milk.
Supermodels, wrestlers, even Bart Simpson, Kermit the Frog, they all did Got Milk commercials and ads.
In the 1996 presidential election, both candidates, Clinton and Bob Dole, posed with a milk mustache for like a sign of unity over their shared love of milk.
I mean, honestly, Jack, kind of wish that podcasters could get in on this. I'll do a Got Milk ad. I could see you with that mustache. You'd look great in that thing.
I heard it's not a real milk mustache. It's like some kind of white glue.
Don't ruin it for the kids, Jack. Don't ruin it for the kids. Yetis, the Got Milk campaign. It peaked in the late 90s, 25 years ago.
And milk, honestly, it's gone a little sour ever since.
Dietary preferences, alternative milks, they have steadily cut the American consumption of milk down these days.
I mean, if you think about it, humans are the only animal that drinks milk in adulthood, and we're also the only animal that drinks the milk of another animal.
We're also the only animal that builds airplanes, but Yetis. In fact, Jack and I jumped in TBOY style. This is one of the wildest drops in consumption we've seen of any product any time in history.
The American consumer, on average, consumes half as much milk today compared to 1975.
Even believe it or not, ice cream sales are down 25% in the last 25 years, according to the USDA. Never thought we'd see the day.
So you'd think dairy is doomed. Americans are consuming half as much milk and 25% less ice cream.
You would think Ben and Jerry are freaking out right now.
You'd think the industry's gone from udder to gutter.
But you'd be wrong.
Because the dairy industry has pulled off a powerful pivot with their protein.
A protein pivot, the likes of which Jack and I have never seen. Honestly, it's one of the most strategic moves in all of business.
In the past 25 years, a new big three have emerged to replace milk in big dairy.
We've basically gone from liquid to solid.
Because butter sales are up 43% per capita in the United States in the last 25 years.
Cheese is up 46%, and yogurt has surged 142% per capita in America.
Milk used to be the cash cow for cows, but no longer.
Yetis, Jack and I have told you on this pod about the great snack surge, a big trend in America right now.
Since work from home, you've been popping more 3 p.m. pick-me-up snacks.
Well, the cheese industry is now a booming snack category for dairy.
Cottage cheese, Cheez-Its, Goldfish. Those sales are stronger than ever, and they all got cheese.
And we've covered all of those stories on this podcast, haven't we, Jack?
Oh, and yogurt? It's no longer considered just a breakfast food like it always has been.
And that is why Chobani, the Greek yogurt company, is worth a whopping $10 billion. That's more than Lyft.
If you got to udder, it's like butter. That's no good. Cut.
No, I kind of like it, Jack. Let's just roll with it. I was kidding. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who are anyone in marketing?
Some of the best marketing is never actually seen.
Now, Yetis, a key reason that dairy has stayed so top of mind is because of behind-the-scenes marketing, BTS marketing.
Dairy farmers fund a group called Dairy Management, Inc. It's a marketing group funded by pretty much all dairy farmers across the United States.
Yeah, interesting thing, Yetis. Remember that viral butterboard trend that surged on TikTok last year? Well, Dairy Management, Inc. kicked it off.
Why did Mr. Beast tour those dairy farms for that YouTube video? Because Dairy Management, Inc. invited him.
Why did Taco Bell release a frozen Mountain Dew drink with a dash of dairy?
And why for McDonald's does 80% of the menu items include dairy?
Because Dairy Management, Inc. partnered up with those brands.
Pretty much any new thing that showcases dairy, there's a good chance Dairy Management, Inc. was behind it.
30 years ago, Got Milk was created by a similar dairy farm marketing board. And Got Milk got pretty far.
Dairy Management, Inc. is doing the same thing today.
Because some of the best marketing we've ever seen was never actually seen. Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for Ceviche Wednesday?
Flow is the first women's health app to hit a $1 billion valuation.
Because we're now in the third phase of femtech, menopause.
For our second story, it's Starbucks. They just reported a second straight quarter of sales shrinkage.
Store for store, Starbucks is now the least loved food chain on Wall Street.
And our third and final story is Big Dairy's big pivot. They've replaced shrinking milk sales with growth in all other dairy products.
Because the best marketing you've ever seen happened behind the scenes and you never saw it.
You heard it, though, on this show.
Yeah, and you see what we're saying.
They hear what we're saying. But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, the big earnings yesterday was from Microsoft, and they announced, how did it look, Jack?
Disappointing. The 50% owner of OpenAI and ChatGPT disappointed investors after hours.
Yeah, Microsoft stock fell 6% as investors are losing patience to see a return on AI.
Second, The women on the U.S. gymnastics team just reclaimed their gold medal.
Just one day after the U.S. men took bronze in gymnastics, our women's team won gold in the team all-around.
It's the biggest medal in gymnastics. By the way, Simone Biles now has 5 gold medals. She's kicking off her redemption games with a victory.
And finally, viewership of these Olympics is getting a gold medal too, because viewership is up 80% from the Tokyo Games.
NBC is loving it.
Yeah, they are.
The opening ceremony actually got 29 million viewers, which is the biggest number since the 2012 games.
Peacock is peacocking right now. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in from legendary Yeti Tomas Baggio from the lovely North Shore of Oahu, Hawaii.
Last week, we covered a story on the rise of Cheez-Its.
The 100-year-old company is seeing a snack sales surge for their legendary Cheez-It.
But get this, the most expensive Cheez-It ever is on sale right now. You could have it for $6,000.
This is wild. There's a $6,000 Cheez-It on eBay. And why is it going for $6,000, Jack?
Because it has no hole in the middle.
Yeah, this is the only Cheez-It that's ever been found without a dimple hole in the middle of that thing.
The eBay listing is hilarious. It's described as extremely rare Cheez-It. It has no hole and it's perfectly puffed. Not been touched by human hands and it's completely edible. And it says he's willing to haggle on the price, which he set at $6,000.
Now, there have been no bids yet. So, you could name your price on this thing, Jack. I don't know, I'm feeling birthday gift vibes.
Yeah, and we'll link to the account on eBay. It's just 4 pictures of the same Cheez-It in a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag.
But this is the most expensive Cheez-It yet.
If someone buys it.
Right now, it's worth nothing. Yetis, you look fantastic for Ceviche Wednesday. And if you want to help grow the show, the best thing you can do right now is to leave a review. Jack, we got some cool reviews lined up. We got some great ones recently.
A favorite recent of mine is from Lage440V on Apple.
All right, Jack, what did Lage440V say about the pod?
Simply said, I'm 11 years old. I listen to this podcast every morning, and I love it.
Lage440V, we love you.
He got right to the point.
Yes, he did.
And yeah, he is the best one yet.
Yetis, you can drop down and leave a rating and review right here on Apple or Spotify. In the meantime, Jack and I are not going to pee in the...
No. I mean, Ocean, of course I will.
Oh, well, now this is awkward, Jack. I don't know about that. Jack and I will see you tomorrow. And before we go, a shout out to Yeti Elena in San Francisco, who's studying for her CFP right now. Elena, you got this.
Happy birthday to Natalie Harris McCrow in West Haven, Connecticut.
And Paulina Barnes is turning 27 years old in the lovely, sunny San Diego, California. And a fantastic happy birthday to our buddy, the Prince of Podcasts, the Sultan of Sound, the King of Queens, Yi Lee. Happy birthday, Yi.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a TBOY.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. I own stock of Kava, and Nick and I both own stock of Chipotle.
Where are you going to draw the line?
With the ocean. I just told you.
It starts with oceans, then it's lakes. Well, I don't know, Jack.